Well, hello, you glorious people. We're back again for our monthly time together. You know I love to be with you. And today, joining you from the great state of Michigan. And this is the piano I grew up with, piano that I learned to play the piano on. So that's kind of special for me to be with you today with this instrument behind me. And you know how it works. Got my dark roast, my Lego mug today, and I'm ready to receive them. All your many questions. All right. I'm sure we're going to see some familiar faces today, maybe even some new faces as we explore vocal technique. So do we have our first question ready to go? Not quite yet. I think we do. It's coming up here from Colin, right? From Colin Joseph, our friend Colin. Colin says, "Hi, Justin. Good show on Thursday, by the way." Oh, that's so cool, Colin, that you could come. I did a master class on Thursday. Just wanted to know how to sing with more intensity without pushing air when singing high, since more air through thin folds is not a good idea. That's an awesome question, Colin. So how do we get more intensity without significantly increasing our breath pressure? Well, the biggest way to do that, Colin, is with compression, okay? And that's good, solid adduction. Really making sure you're making firm contact for the vocal cords. And we know of some really good ways to do that, okay? Again, the voice plosives. I go back to them a lot, but it's because they work so well. That's a B, D, and a G. Those three consonants, right? So exercises such as B, 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 or day, 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 really using that consonant firmly. You can also use a glottal sound, like for example, A, may, starting with that A, may. Those sounds really help you to get a firmer closure. And when you get a firmer closure, you get more for less, right? You don't have to muscle up a bunch of air to make your sound bigger. You get a better contact. The sound source is more efficient, and then you just make more sound without getting massively loud. All right, so I would experiment with that first and see how that does. I'm sure you're going to see some benefits by making sure that you have a great compression when you are singing. Our next question comes from Hasnual. And Hasnual says, "Hi, Justin. Happy Sunday. I have a friend. He's a vocal teacher. He told me that we should sing with the diaphragm. But when I said it was a myth, the diaphragm is a muscle that only inhales. It's active during inhales, passive during exhales, and singing happens when we exhale, but he didn't believe it. He answered that at least 20% when we sing from the diaphragm. His statement made me doubt a little. Now I'm confused. Do I still have to tell him about it, or should I just ignore it?" Okay, long question, good question. Boils down to this. Voice teacher said that we do sing from the diaphragm. You as students said, we don't sing from the diaphragm. Where's the truth? You're right, Hasnual. The diaphragm is an inhalation muscle, okay? And so we sing on an exhalation. So it's a bit of a myth that we sing from the diaphragm. We don't sing from the diaphragm because the diaphragm activates for inhales and is passive for the most part in the exhales. Now, there's been some research that suggests that the diaphragm can have some contraction during the exhale. So maybe that's what your voice teacher is talking about. But nevertheless, I believe that we shouldn't be thinking of singing from the diaphragm because it's definitely not dominant. And we want to go to the source. The source would be your exhalation muscles. And that is primarily some of your abdominal muscles and your rib cage muscles, coming in gently when you sing. So Hasnual, it's good to not, I think, get into vocal conflicts when they're not necessary. So I don't know if you have to, correct your voice teacher on that. As long as you both can communicate and things are working for you, everything should be great. But at the end of the day, a gentle, flowing, small exhalation is what you're looking for. Okay, diaphragm or not, but probably not. All right, very good question. Very good. Now, let's see what we got here. This is from Lucas Oliveira D'Antonio, one of our good friends. Hi, Justin. How can I make sure I'm not pushing too much volume or forcing my voice? Very good question. There's several ways that you can know, Lucas. First off, I think you can probably really feel it. How tired do you get when you are singing? If you're forcing lots of volume all the time, I believe that you will get tired quite quickly. We should be able to sing for at least an hour without getting significantly tired. So if you're singing and you're getting tired after like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, that might be an indication of pushing too much volume. Now, you also might get feedback from friends or family or a teacher. If they kind of suggest to you, it sounds too loud, too big, then that might be another indication for you. What do others say? But what I recommend to you is very simple. Volume control exercises, all right? So let's take an example of a volume control exercise. And I'm going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 volume like this. Just on a may, may, may. May, 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 may. Hear what I did there? I started at a big volume and then I backed off 5 steps very gradually. Now there's a zillion volume control exercises, but what I just want to leave you with one. That's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 volume gradations. Why that's so important, Lucas, is that whether you're too loud or not, when you go from that 5 to that 4, you see a difference. That 4 to that 3, you see a difference. And maybe you can find a sound that's a little bit pulled back from your biggest sounds that still work and really feels still very powerful to you. So see if you can do that. See if you can find some gradations, and maybe there's something in the middle that works just as well as what you were doing for your fullest volume. All right. And let's go to Nia. Nia. I'm trying to figure out how I can allow the air to escape slowly when singing. Feels like I'm always running out of breath. Awesome question, Nia. Let's get this for you. It's a two-parter. When we're running out of breath. Why? There's two big reasons. The breathing system itself, and as we were talking about with Colin, the compression system. Okay? Your breath and your vocal cords. Comes down to that, breath and vocal cords. If you're running out of breath and we look at it from the breathing circumstance, probably what's happening is you are collapsing your rib cage too fast, you're collapsing your sternum too fast, and you're letting your belly come in, or you're squeezing your belly in too much. So what we need to do is make sure you stay lifted in the sternum. We need to make sure that you stay open in the rib cage and open in the abdominals. So do that little checklist when you sing. Nice and tall, nice and open, and nice and open. It should feel open, but not rigid. Don't feel like you're holding or forcing things open. but very pliant as you do this. So that's from the breathing level. But Nia, in my experience, people run out of breath a lot more often because of, again, the compression. Being able to find good, solid cord closure and adduction independently of everything else. And so we gave Colin some ideas. It's the same for you. If I have something like this happening, B, 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 I might run out of air very quickly because I need to learn B, 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 a solider sound, more solid. You can use, again, BDG, those consonants, glottals, also vocal fry, A, 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 to help your chords get more compressed. All right. So a better seal here, and don't let it out so fast here, and you're going to have some improvements. All right. Let's see what we have next. We have Vincent, the Prince. He's a real prince, everybody. Vincent the Prince. I love it. Hi, Justin, also from Michigan, the Royal Oak area. Whoa, that's awesome. I think there's lots of princes in the Royal Oak area, as a matter of fact. That's a common place for princes to be. But he didn't have a question?
Not yet. Oh,
not yet. Okay. Well, Vincent, we're just down the road from you, so great to see you, and maybe we'll ask a question later. Now, David Zetto, greetings from Canada. New face here. All right. Well, David, glad to have you aboard. Some questions. In your warm-ups video, you said you weren't a fan of warm-ups. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason for this? P.S. I think you might be my new favorite person on the entire YouTube. Oh, that's a very big statement. I really appreciate that. Your channel is the first I've ever joined. Wow. Well, thank you, David. That's very kind. Very, very kind. Let me talk about the warm-up situation. Why I said I'm not a big fan is that people make the mistake of not differentiating between warm-ups and vocal technique exercises. And they think, for example, you know, oh, well, I don't want to do a bunch of warm-ups. I want to sing. And can we get through all these warm-ups now? I don't want to be doing all these warm-ups. I want to sing. And both warm-ups and technique exercises are valuable, but what I'm against is when people lump them together into one thing. Warm-ups are great, so I'm sorry if I misled, but they're only great for a short time. Great warm-ups include things like lip trills, tongue trills, some nasal sounds, typically like a oo vowel, those sorts of things. Those are great warm-ups. But the issue, David, is that our warm-up time probably should be about 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Maybe 15 tops. Then we don't always just want to go to the song. This is where I have a little problem. It's not like we do a quick warm-up and then go to the song. Sometimes, yes, but what I really would encourage you to do is do a little warm-up and then do your technique exercises, which are a totally different thing. People think they're warm-ups. They're not. This is where we're really isolating pieces and parts of our voice so that we can have vocal mastery. Warm-ups are much more, technique exercises are much more specific than warm-ups, and they address the nitty-gritty of the voice in a way that we really need to do. Songs don't always do it because you don't know if the song is going to help you or not. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But a technique exercise designed to solve a certain vocal issue always will help you. So my recommendation, do a 5 or 10 minute warm-up each day. And then some days do a big technique session, an hour. Other days, warm up, sing some songs. And other days, warm up, do some technique, and do some songs. All right, but just don't neglect the technique exercises, and you're all good. All right, that was a great question. Good. Now, okay, here we go with Vincent the Prince. Oh, and you're a woman. Okay, no problem. Very good. Singing with good compression / in my chest voice has always come easy to me, but I can never make it sound feminine / mature. I don't want to sound like I'm in Newsies anymore. Help. Okay, I want to see if I understand this. Sings with good compression. It's always come easy. But it doesn't sound feminine to you. Okay. I'm going to ask you, Vincent, to just clarify, because you say feminine / mature. That's what you'd like it to sound, feminine / mature. And I just want a little more clarity on that. If you could just write to us, and then I'm going to answer that once I understand what you mean by that, and we'll get some good stuff going. But next we're going to go to Jake as you're writing. Jake says, oh, hey, Jake. I sing challenging rock music, and I find doing warm-ups like mums or nays, they warm up a type of mix, but not exactly a beefy chest-dominated mix. And after doing all these warm-ups, it usually takes me 10 to 15 minutes to find my beefy rock voice when singing songs. I heard the expression, warm up the way you sing. So how should I warm up if I sing a lot of rock music? Should I step away from the mums and the nays to find something more rock appropriate? Okay. So Jake is feeling like the warm-ups give him a lighter quality than the thick, heavy rock quality he's looking for. What I want to say to you, Jake, is I would actually still do them. And the reason why is in any style, even opera, when we go for our biggest sounds and our fullest sounds, it's really important that they come from the lighter sound, right? That you're not just going from 0 to 60, but you have 0, 5, 10, 20. You can kind of find gradations of power, gradations of volume, gradations of compression. And the lighter sounds always protect us and keep us healthy. And they are the foundation of the more powerful sounds. So I wouldn't stop doing them. But I guess you're going to need in your warm-ups or your technique time some bigger, beefier things as well. Maybe you could start with the lighter ones and then really go for some more open embouchure kinds of sounds. If we wanted to move from, like, let's say, and it's all very like closed down, and then later you open it up, you could do like a part 1 and a part 2, one that is light and perhaps nasally resonant and contained, and then we're going to start to open up the embouchure, maybe raise the soft palate and get a little bit more volume and compression. So my suggestion to you is to do both. I would worry if you got rid of the lighter stuff that maybe you would feel more taxed over time by doing that, right? You might get where you want to be quicker, but you also might be kind of overdoing it, right? Like if we just go into the gym and we start bench pressing, it's maybe you can do it, but it's better to have a way to get into it gradually. Over time, it does less wear and tear on your instrument that way. And particularly if you're singing heavy, aggressive kinds of rock, I think you're going to want that. All right. Let's see here what we have next. Zoya. I think we've seen Zoya many times. Welcome back. Hi, Justin. 2 chats ago, you gave me some great tips on head voice. Yay. It was really helpful. I really feel the progress. Thank you so much. However, I'm wondering if it's still possible to add some notes to my range. knowing that I'm already in my middle 40s? I think so. Right now, my range is from C3 to A flat 5 plus an accidental A5 and some kitten sounds in the 6th octave. What I'd love is to have A5, B flat 5, and C6 in pure head voice. Sounds reasonable to me, Zoya. Sounds very reasonable to me. Now those kitten sounds, I think those are actually flageolet, probably, which is great for you to work on. I encourage you, Zoya, and everybody to keep working that flageolet. Males and females, everybody. It's very much a game changer for the voice as a whole and for extending your range. So keep making those kitten sounds. Love how you say that. But how are we going to do it, Zoya? To extend that female head voice up a little bit higher, I need to make sure that you're making the appropriate embouchure and jaw adjustments, okay? So as you reach that A flat kind of territory, you might need to start moving in this directional and also this directional in order to be able to drag up the register. All registers will go a little bit higher if we do this stuff. Now, most of the time, we don't want to do that too much because the sound could get pushed. But in head voice, we're already kind of in head voice, so it's a lighter coordination. So let me give you an example. If I do like an oo vowel, same kind of notes that you're talking about, and I don't change it, then I get my kitten sounds, right? Oh boy. But and there you have that A5. Maybe we can even go higher. So you see how I'm opening the embouchure and dropping the jaw. See if that adjustment, and in Italian it's the aggiustamento, right? The adjustment can make all the difference in the world. All right? Great. Let's see what's next. Jiho Kim, our friend Jiho. Hi, Justin. Thanks for getting back to us. Oh, on your precious vacation. Yes, I mean, I'm there for you, you know. One of my favorite musical numbers of all time is Till I Hear You Sing, where the actor belts You're Not Here at G5. When I get to the R consonants, especially the back R, my tongue tension gets worse, right? Can a tense tongue be such an interference to optimal vocal folds work? How is tongue related to belting and compression? Okay, let's unpack this. The R sound, one of the worst vocal situations that we have. By the way, you may not have seen these episodes. For some reason, people miss these a lot, but I did an entire Voice Lessons to the World on the R and the L. I think they're somewhere in the 40s range, but I did R behind bars and L in a cell, in which we put these pesky consonants behind bars where they belong. So I want you to go back and watch that so you have a full episode on the sound. But let me tell you about it now here today. When we do R, the not the ra, but the sound, the tongue pulls back, and usually that will push the larynx down. When the larynx is pushed down, the vocal folds loosen and often come apart. So singers really struggle because they have a tongue set up and they have a larynx set up, everything's working, and then it gets pushed back and down, and it upsets everything. For this reason, in a lot of styles, we just don't even sing the R, right? We especially classical, we cut it, we say ah instead of r, or ar. We will roll the r. But let's say you want to sing the r, because I know you do. Then what you're going to have to do is make sure you don't have such tongue retraction. Don't let it pull back. Instead, we use our lips. It's one of these. And then also our nose. And you get a quality. The audience hears but the tongue is not here. It's here. And we use our lips. So what was the phrase that Jiho said? It was, oh, you're not here. So here we'd say, you're not here, more with the lips than you're not here. Okay, and I don't know exactly how that phrase goes, but we wouldn't want like that. You're not here, you're not here, where I'm using more lips than tongue. Okay, so that's why that happens, and also how to fix it. So I hope that helps you. And watch that episode, the R behind bars episode. Kelsey Hagum. I think we've seen Kelsey before. Hi, Justin. Do you have any advice for learning how to retract the false vocal folds? Yeah, okay, good. I'm assuming that the reason you're saying this, Kelsey, is that you've had some still studies. And my question first, and you don't necessarily have to answer this, that's something you can think about, is what is making you think that they're too contracted in the first place? Are you actually getting some rasp and distortion from your false vocal folds? Or are you just feeling a sort of constricted throat that's making you say, you know, that your false vocal folds are contracted? The reason that I say this is that concept of retraction tends to be very much an still kind of thinking. It has its still origins. And I don't know how much I see that thinking or that teaching in any other vocal circle. And so I want to make sure that your false folds are actually the problem, because I think there might have been too heavy of an emphasis placed on that concept within the still methods. Now remember, the still is utterly fantastic stuff, just great. There's only one problem. Joe Still is no longer living. And so some of the ideas which were revolutionary have now been, I don't want to say proven wrong, but we're always evolving and learning. I've said so much wrong stuff in the past. We all do, right? And any voice teacher who doesn't admit that is not telling the truth. We are constantly learning and we're constantly discovering new things. So it's natural that we thought it was this and then later we find out it was that. I know that's a long answer, Kelsey. I'm going to give you the goods. I'm just saying I want you to be sure that there's actually a problem there before you call it that and it didn't actually have, your false folds weren't actually, you know, doing something. All this to being said, the solution for that issue is any of the open-throated techniques, okay? So that would be the following things. A lowered larynx. Feeling like you can make some sounds with a deeper and dopier kind of quality and doing some exercises with that, okay? Also a little bit of decompression and feeling a width in your vocal cord area, experimenting with that. Feeling the pharynx open, which is sort of just an image that you can place, just almost like a tubular sensation. It's you see my larynx going down as well, but the pharynx will also open up if you give yourself an open-throated kind of thought. And then I would just say relaxed jaw and tall vowels. All of these things minimize tension in this area and give us more space and room. That will solve the false vocal fold thing, whether or not it was actually the problem. Okay? That was a long and crazy answer, but I hope it gave you every detail you need to solve that. All right, what do we have next? Okay, now we have Vincent the Prince. We're going to get this for you. The best way I can put it is that I want to be able to sound like a Disney princess. I've been working on Part of Your World. In the song, Ariel is in her chest voice, I think, but she still sounds effortless and light. I'm having trouble finding the right mix where I can project and sound delicate. Now I understand, Vincent the Prince. I believe you're going to need to work on head dominant mix. It's probably the case, as you said, that you've got a big rockin' chest voice, and we need a lighter mix, okay? You can approach it with 3 methods: the decompression, the nasal, and small embouchures, okay? So if I'm going up in my voice and things are getting kind of big and belty, and I want to more of that kind of quality to things. And it's look at this stuff, isn't it neat? You think my collection's complete? That sort of voice. That's a head dominant mix. So I'll give you an exercise to practice it. The decompression will give you the H. The nasal will give you an N. And for the tiny embouchure, let's give you an I vowel. So Vincent, your exercise becomes hin in, and you can try it. We're gonna do a hin in, and let that be very light. Don't drive chest. Don't drive chest. Don't let it fall apart either. Don't go to head voice, but just that light quality. Adding that to your voice will be a really good thing, and it will help you sound more like a Disney princess. I totally get where you're going on that now. I just didn't understand mature. So thanks for clarifying. Now, what do we have? What do we have? We have Kelsey Higgum clarifying. Great. I'm a voice feminization teacher, and testosterone thickens the false folds, so I'm trying to reverse that. Oh my. Retracting the false folds can lend male to female transgender women a softer sound by dampening higher harmonics. Great. Wow. Okay. You know what, Kelsey? I would love for you to send us an email, because I want to unpack this with you on a separate chat. Because I want to hear more about some of your findings there before I make any statements, because I've never met you before. So most of the time when people say retract the false vocal cords, they're talking from an Astillian methodology. So I would really love to chat with you and make sure that we really pin that down for you. All right. So you can write to us whenever you'd like. Okay, now we have Leah Menaker. I hope I said that right. I'm a voice teacher working with a male adult that has trouble reaching falsetto. It's about 95% air. I've tried doing some glottal work, slides of fifths. What else would you suggest beyond this? Ooh, yeah, those ones are tough, really tough. I love that you said you're doing the glottal work. I mean, that's about as good as you can do with that. When we're talking about the sound is pretty much air, then we're going to have to get some sort of gentle closure. I love the glottals. It's like the best you could come up with. I guess I'd also try some fry stuff up there. See if you can get like a have them go fry into it. And once again, the voiced plosives also work if you wanted to do like a that sort of thing. But what I want to suggest to you, Leah, because I've been there with that one, that's tricky stuff. Any sound that you can find, any one of them, any falsetto note, find it and build upon it. What do I mean? I mean, if he can just get one of them, and you're doing the glottals, you're trying this new fry thing, maybe the plosives, and what we have is like, there we go. Okay, you did it. There, we found one. There it was. And now we just try to go from there to and build upon it. Because in the situations where there's almost no falsetto, we just need some sort of starting place. So you said 95, which means there might be 5 that you can find. If you find it, Leah, harvest it and really work from there. Even if it's only a few notes at first, that's where you're going to do your focused time. Okay? Yeah, there's not a lot you can do about that, unfortunately. It sounds like you're super smart and you're right on to that, so good for you. Now, Ella Adamek, hi Justin. A random person asked if I could sing on their song. I don't know them. I don't know how do I go about that? Do I charge for that? How do I do that? Oh, that's a nice question, Ella. Well, I'm glad they liked you enough to ask you to do that. I think you're really going to have to ask them some more questions before you commit. Because, you know, it's a nice offer and it wouldn't be wrong to just sing on somebody's song. But I think you need to ask them, how is it going to be used? Okay. And will you have any like ownership of the final product? That's going to give you a lot of information there. How will it be used and what is your ownership of it? Because if it's just, you know, between friends, it shouldn't be a problem. But if they're trying to put it out there or make money on it, you want to make sure you're protected. So see how they're going to use it. And you might actually, hopefully they're going to send you the song to hear, because you also want to make sure it's a good fit for you. You don't want to be in a situation where it's not in the right key or it's not the right style or you don't come across right. So make sure that you really know something about the project that you're getting into. And then depending on the seriousness of the situation, you might do a little contract, okay? If you find that it's just a friendly situation and it's not a big deal, you don't need a contract. But if you think it's going to be more commercial and you might be unprotected, you can make up a little contract. You don't necessarily need like a lawyer or something like that. Once you have all the details and you've asked all those questions, if you would feel more comfortable drawing up a little agreement, I think you're within your rights to do that. All right? Good. Good luck with that. Let us know what happens. Okay, Leah, follow up. Okay, great. Is it dangerous to exhaust working up there for that kind of student? No, it is not. Not in my experience, not in my findings. The thing about falsetto and, you know, flageolet is the vocal cords, as you say, they're not even making contact here, right? So it's not like we're taking up beefy chest mass and collision forces and slapping the vocal cords. What we're trying to do is just get these guys approximated and making some sort of sound. So where the exhaustion comes from, Leah, is often that a singer like this will be just recruiting all kinds of extrinsic tension, right? They are using neck muscles, they're using jaw muscles, and you just see all kinds of things going on. It can be sort of physically taxing, even though it's not so much on the fold level being taxed. So you could do a solid amount of work in a 1 hour lesson. You could spend a good 10 minutes on that falsetto work. Easy, 15, it'd be fine. But make sure that he is not recruiting too much. You can have him look in the mirror. You can have him actually hold down the musculature. I highly recommend this. People are afraid to do it, but they don't need to be. Holding down the places that you see them bringing in lots of tension, okay? That helps them to get the compression from within and not from without. So address that if you are working. Okay, now. Selena Trevino. Hey, Selena. Hi, Justin. I didn't catch where in Michigan you are. I'm originally a Youper from Hubble. I don't know Hubble. I'm in East Lansing, Michigan right now, Selena. I grew up in Hazlet, Michigan. It's a very small little burg that for some reason is known for its choirs, which is partly how I got my upbringing. But yeah, right. So if you're a Michigander, right about here, right now, mid-Michigan. But Selena's way up there, so that's very cool. Now, do you have any advice for learning piano? I'd like to be able to play vocal exercises and write songs. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, I highly recommend it. Piano is just a game changer for any singer. So if you're already feeling good about your voice and then you add piano, it's just, you get so much better because you can see and understand music on a deeper level. If you can get a piano teacher, I'd say get one. You know, if that's available to you, go ahead. I mean, we even have a piano teacher on our staff. If you're interested in that, Mark Berman, he's spectacular. He played the Sex and the City theme and many TV themes. He's all over the place. His resume is crazy. Very reasonable rates too. So if you want to study with a great pianist, we've got one on our staff, but you might just find somebody in your area as well. These days, they have some awesome apps and software that you can get that can really teach you very, very well. I can't personally recommend them because I haven't tried them because I already play the piano, but I know of them. So you could do some research on that. You could get some books. There's some great piano learning series and try to do some self-teaching. But the combination of that, getting a teacher, getting some apps or software, getting some books, I think you'll be making some progress in no time. All right. Okay, now we're going in here for Empress Psycho. Hey, Empress, we're good to see you again. We have, are we supposed to fully relax the abdominals on the inhale? I don't see how that is possible, but some teachers will tell their students to do that. I would say, yes, we should. Yes, you should relax your abdominals on the inhale. And I'm not clear, Empress, on why you're feeling like that's impossible. In my body and in my experience, that feels quite natural. I wonder if you are thinking that the movement means that it's engaged, when actually the movement means that it's relaxed. In other words, if I open up my abdominals when I breathe, and they are moving, they're moving, again, because they're relaxed. If I kept them squeezed, they wouldn't move. So by letting go of that musculature, keeping it soft, and then you take your inhalation, everything moves outwards. Okay, so movement equals relaxed. Staying the same equals engaged. How can they move if they're relaxed? Well, what happens is the diaphragm descends and the lungs fill with air. And because the diaphragm descends, the viscera, the organs and things like that, get pushed down and out. And so when your abdominal muscles are relaxed and you inhale, the viscera pushes out your abdominal wall, and then that's how we get that expansion. Hope that clarifies. And just remember, movement equals relaxation when you inhale. Okay. Patrick 2, I think we know you. Hi, Justin. I'm having problems doing lip rolls on high notes due to having pressure on my vocal folds. Oh, any good advice or techniques to lip roll on higher notes? Well, yes, Patrick, but theoretically, the lip rolls will help you to not squeeze the vocal folds. Okay, so that's actually one of their big intentions, is to reduce that over compression, that hyperadduction. The sound helps us to let go of that. So it seems like you're probably still winning the war, if you will. So we're supposed to be having this like relaxed feeling, but you're feeling like really squeezing, and look what happened. It stopped my lip trill. Invite decompression, invite a lighter, looser coordination, and that will start to happen. If you cannot, we recruit our good friend H. Oh, what a friend we have in H. So if I'm trying to, it's not working, we could do a H to really let go of the vocal cords a bit, and then you go right back and see if it works. So invite the H into your trill work, and I think you're going to see a difference. All right. What's next? Oh, are we Caleb? Okay, Caleb Arndt. How tall and open should my mouth be when singing? I know I should maintain good nasal resonance, but I often hear people say the mouth should be open so that the sound is clear. Awesome question, Caleb. Well, there's no one place that the mouth should be. The neutral position for our singing looks like this. Okay? So if you want like a default setting, it's one of these. But often when we say words, it has to be a little bit more closed so that we can say them. And often when you're looking for a big, clear, full, powerful sound, we have to do one of these and or one of these, as we showed to somebody earlier, okay? So rules of thumb would be this. If it's just a sort of plain kind of sound that you need, just let your jaw be free. If you have to say words, don't be afraid to keep it a little bit more closed so that you can say them. If you're looking for a more contained, heady kind of quality, you can also stay more small. But if you want a more open, full kind of quality, you can drop a little bit more, and you can open wide a little bit more. The nasal, one of the big points of that is to allow you to open up and not have it all be rushing out the mouth. All right, so that's just a little breakdown. You might watch the episode that I did on embouchure. I think it's like 90 something, maybe 90, 89, something like that. Embouchure, the many faces of singing. Check out that episode where we really break down what every different shape does, okay? Good, Caleb. Zamina Rios. Hey, Zamina, from Bolivia. I would like to know if you can have Spanish speakers in the teacher training program because I can't understand some terms like twang or belt. Okay, Zamina. Yes, our voice teacher training program, we've had graduates from over 30 countries all over the place. People have done our program. We've had this is interesting to me. I don't understand this, to be honest with you. We've had graduates from several countries who didn't speak English at all. And trust me, I would not want to do that. I would not want to take a voice teacher training in Spanish since I don't speak Spanish. But I've had people do that and have a really positive experience. It sounds like you speak some good English, but I'm just telling you that's the extreme that we've had. No English, and they still did the course. God knows how they did it and why they loved it, but they did. More to your situation, since we've had so many graduates from Spanish-speaking countries, I'm pretty sure that we could pair you up with a graduate that would be very happy to help you so that you absorb whatever you can in English. But if there's some translations that are, elusive for you, you can talk to them and they will be happy to translate. If that sounds of interest to you, Zamina, then write to Michael, tell him your situation, and before you commit to anything for our teacher training program, we'll make sure that you've talked to somebody who's a graduate who speaks Spanish so that you can have a helper. Okay? All right. Sammy. Oh, man. Hey, Justin. Hey, Sammy. How did you learn so much about the voice? How did I learn so much about the voice? Obsessiveness, passion, joy, my life's work. I've been like all in on vocal stuff for about 25 years now. I know I don't look like it, but I'm 39. I just turned 39. So I've been doing this since I was 14. And when I was a teenager, I was like the vocal student. And like my weekly voice lesson, that was like the greatest thing. And I absorbed it and I practiced it and I studied it so hardcore and I was so into it. And then I went to college and got a degree in musical theater, and I studied even more there. I was a pianist for all the vocal students, and I got to sit in with all their voice teachers. So I saw the work of the entire University of Michigan vocal staff as a young person. And then coming to New York City as an actor, I got to study with the best Broadway teachers, the best pop rock teachers, the best classical teachers. I mentored with them. When I discovered my calling to teach voice, I took every course, I read every book, and now I've taught over 20,000, who knows, probably about 22,000 voice lessons. And so I've been like in the shop tinkering with voices all day, every day for 16 years. It's just what I do, And anybody that does anything for that long with that amount of focus and passion, is gonna pick up a few tricks. So hope that answers your question. I like that one. That was fun. Okay. Now, let's go to Bruno Espinoza, one of our good friends. Hey, Bruno. Hi, Justin. How to develop vocal range up to C6? Do flageolet exercises are unpredictable daily for me based on my yoga classes. Live in your posture, don't force. I've done a plan with lax voice and low volume, play up to F#5 for a month and G5 the other. What do you think? Maybe that's a good idea on how to be systematic. Congratulations on Thursday's class. It was a great, great vocal summary. Really appreciate that. Next, I will have to sing I Have Nothing. I think after that class, everybody will sing I Have Nothing. If you weren't at the class, half the volunteers said, could you help me sing Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing? Okay, but Bruno, to extend that flageolet, I don't know if you need a systematic plan, all right? I really don't. I think there's gonna be, just like you're saying with yoga, there's going to be days where you can just go deeper into the stretch. And who knows why? You're got better sleep, you were hydrated, you ate the right thing, you're feeling good, your body just said yes that day. We don't really know why some days we're just feeling great and we can go further. Same thing, flageolet. I don't think you need to have like a system where you say, you know, this month I'm going to do this, that month I'm going to do that. It's one of those daily check-in things. Check in daily with the top of your voice. And some days it might be G5, some days it might be B flat 5 as you work to that C6. But I would just let your voice be what it is that day and don't try to create systems for your voice. That's the thing. I don't teach a vocal method. Like New York vocal coaching is not a method. It's not a system. And the reason that I don't teach that, I teach to each individual and create a method for them and their voice, is everybody's different and every day we are different. Our voices are literally brand new every day. You don't know what you're going to have until you try. So we can't follow systems as well with singing as we can with some other things. I'd ask you, Bruno, to get up to the top of your voice every day, as high as is comfortable, and be very observant about what is working. Does it work better when there's less tension? Does it work better when you are aware of your breathing? Does it work better with certain shapes? Are there certain exercises that you've tried that make it work better? And whatever those discoveries are, keep doing more of it every single day. And don't put a limit, like today is my G5 day. How do you know? Maybe today's the day you get your C6. And maybe you get it that day and the next day it's gone. It happens. But that's more of a liberated approach that I would highly recommend to you. Okay. Now, how are we doing? Did we get through everybody? Oh, we didn't get through everybody. We have 3 more before we get through everybody. Holy cow. 3 more. 4 more. Okay. Now, we just love this Sunday group, and I'm always trying to time it very well. I don't mind running over the hour that we agreed upon. It's all cool by me, but I'm just trying to make sure everybody's question is answered today. So we're going to keep going. We've got Joanna A. Hey, Justin. When I'm singing in my head voice, I tend to sound breathy, especially in the lower end of the register, and I'm having trouble controlling that. My only way to feel like I'm getting a little more compression and power is lowering the larynx. Now, I don't want to sing opera, at least not all the time. What should I practice and how? I can help you there, Joanna. It's the same thing as Vincent the Prince, as a matter of fact. I'm going to highly recommend to you a head dominant mix. Okay? Head dominant mix. Maybe you already have it, which is great. Then we need you to integrate the lower part of your head voice with the higher part of that head dominant mix. We need them to blend. So if you've already got the head dominant mix down, then start the blending process. If you don't have the head dominant mix down, it's going to be like the softest, lightest, breathiest, contained chest voice that you ever had. Or it's going to feel like a little bit solider, thicker head voice at the lower part. So let's show you what that would sound like to integrate that. So if I come on down and this is what's happening to Joanna, something like this. She's trying to lower to get some more power. Sure, I buy it. But what about? See how I switched that? Head voice for female. Head dominant mix. So check the transition. Did you hear it? Hopefully not. I'm disguising it. The line between my head voice and my head dominant mix, I'm making so small, so subtle that you can't really hear it. That's what you need to do. A male who drags falsetto too low has the same problem as a female dragging head voice too low. At a certain point, we got to switch it to head dominant mix or else it's going to feel too weak. So give some of those things a try. All right. Now let's go here to David Arndt. See, I wonder if you're related to Caleb. That's interesting. Hey, Justin, what can a young singer like me do to get effortless high notes? I like to sing classical stuff, but the G#4 seems to be about the highest I can go without switching to falsetto. What can I do? We're going to help you here. Young singer, you say. I wonder how young. Because if you're still in your teen years, sometimes this can take a little while, and that's okay. You will have it. But the developing male voice in the teen years, some guys are going to get those high notes faster than other guys, and it's okay. It's a process. But if you're 18 or over, then we can really get it fast. It really goes back to that compression thing once again, David, because the reason that, say, G4 or G#4 starts to say, woo, I can't go any further, is usually because so much weight has been dragged up to that point that the voice just says, I can't hang on to that weight anymore, and then we go to falsetto. If you're working in a more compressed variety, okay, so like adduction versus vertical phase, all right, this sort of thing versus that sort of thing, then you can go really high. Pick very small head dominant vowels, David, like I or like as in book, I as in bit, and go up there. I'll show you what I mean. Let's do our singles like this. This is an E natural. Bid, 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 bid. Bid, 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 bid. Bid, 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 bid. Now here's G. This is what wants to happen. Bid, 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 bid. Bid, 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 bid. And eventually, I can't hold on to all that weight anymore. But say I didn't make the change. Bid, 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 bid. 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 I'm not dragging weight, but I'm finding the that allows me to stay out of falsetto. That's the missing ingredient in the voice right now for you. If you're in your teen years, that can be slippery. But if you're 18 or over, I think we can get that if you do that kind of work. All right? And we have, is this the last one? No. 2 more. Oh, 3 more. Okay. Just trying to figure it out. All right, Joven? I think it's Joven. I might say your name wrong. I'm sorry if I do. Joven Barreto. Hi, Justin. How do I know if I'm in a kind of flow phonation instead of a pressed one? What is the idea of compression above the folds to sing higher notes in head voice? Okay, well, let's talk about the first one first. Flow phonation is this idea of the breath leading the way, and it's a very good vocal principle. There's an episode on it if you want to look at that. Quick singing tips episode I did on flow phonation. But let's look at 3 sounds. The pressed sound, that's where the chords win the war. Oh, man, my vocal cords are so rocking. They're holding back everything. And with that question earlier about running out of breath, I will never run out of breath if my vocal cords are so buff. That's a pressed sound. Now, the opposite of a pressed sound is a leaky sound. Oh, I'm not doing very well there. That's a that sort of voice. Okay, so those are the two opposites on the spectrum. The flow phonation would be like where the breath wins, but the chords also come along for the journey. Not too much chords, not too much breath, a balance. So what I'd ask you to do, Joven, is do those extremes. See if you can try it. It won't hurt you. You'll do a very pressed one first. You'll do a very breathy one second, and then you will try to find the balance in between. If you find that balance, you found your flow phonation. As for compression above the vocal folds, I think that's probably just talking about resonance, and certain resonances help our vocal folds to vibrate and certain resonances work against it. So I think that's what that's all about, but we'll have to get to that one another time, I think. I think that would be fine. Now let's go to Kenneth Tan. Kenneth Tan. Is it possible to sing at a low volume and not have dropouts in the notes? Yes. We don't want to go so quiet that notes are cutting out. So Kenneth, you either need to coordinate each note at a soft volume, or you need to sing a little bit louder. One of the two. But no, you don't have to have notes dropping out. That you know, sort of we don't want that. What is the softest you can sing without it dropping out? Experiment with that. Okay, that's a pretty straightforward one. And oh, and then we have just one more comment from our friend, John Wenning. Always great to see you, John, my friend. Justin, thank you for the incredible masterclass Thursday on the mixed voice. Loved seeing all the questions today and hearing your responses. Well, I really appreciate that, John, because in all honesty, that was a tough one. What I call that masterclass is stunt voice teaching. I mean, the pressure of that, I'll explain this to our audience. You had about 300 people watching on Zoom, and I'm working for like 5-minute periods, 5, with people that are asking me how they can sing Whitney Houston's "I Have Nothing," and the sound is bad, and I'm supposed to be delivering these like miracles. It's like, okay, can you teach me to sing Whitney Houston's "I Have Nothing" in 5 minutes in front of an audience with bad sound? Justin, go. And I think we did okay, but it's like, oh my gosh, that's stunt voice teaching right there. Do not try this at home. So that was my experience. So I really appreciate the encouragement because, you know, honestly, sometimes it ain't easy. With that, I thank you, people. A couple announcements. My book is coming out, in case you're interested in that, on 10/10/2020. That is the Sing Like Never Before book. So please visit singlikeneverbefore.com if you're interested in learning some things about the book, and should be able to get some pre-orders going in mid-September. Please join Brendan's monthly chat each month. Brendan Hodek, vocal genius. As a part of being a member of our channel, you get to have a time each month with me and with Brendan. You also can go back and watch all the past Q&As if you want more. Really good stuff. And I know there hasn't been episodes in a while, but we're going to be getting back to those very soon. In the month of September, we'll be back with quick singing tips, voice lessons to the world, Brendan's voice breakdown show. Lots of good stuff coming your way. We had a little bit of a hiatus due to everything going on, but we're ready to get right back to it. And so be expecting that. I thank you, people. I bow to you. I'm wishing you health, and I'm wishing you more great blessings on your vocal journey. And I always look forward to seeing you. So we'll see you next month for our September live Q&A. All right. Take care.